Everybody, welcome to your webinar. My name is Lee Honish, if you did not know that. I realize that I'm doing this for one of my own coaching groups, but I'm keeping this content video. For those of you who don't know, I am a marketing guy. I've been doing that for the last 9 years. I've made it sort of my life's purpose to understand everything there is to know about marketing. And generally speaking, I run a coaching group for you guys that are on the webinar right now in real estate. I also consult private businesses. I don't care if they're selling widgets or they repair widgets. To me, it does not matter. I think the formulas are generally all the same. What you're looking at on the screen right now is Google, and that's all there is when it comes to web-based marketing. So today we're going to focus on how in real time I generate from the web, how I use email, how I use slide broadcast. I'm going to show you with multiple different forms of businesses. I'm going to try to set some stuff up in real time so you can see how to, what I call fishing on Facebook in real time. We're going to try to cover as much as we can. This is 2 hours worth of content, and this is a very long drawn out explanation. I have, as a caveat, I have basically two monetization funnels that I focus on when I'm on the web, right? I do podcasts. That's my content that I create. It's also something I enjoy doing, right? Because if it isn't a passion, it isn't worth doing. And the other is I sell a coaching group for real estate agents called Monster Marketing. It's a direct marketing approach. How I market that is something I'm going to share with you. How I market my podcast is something I'm going to show. I also look for listings and deal. I do that a little more under the gun, I guess is a way to say it. I do it differently. I don't really use this funnel that you're about to see. And there's this very specific reason. The main pipeline for the way that I get real estate deals is through the Monster Marketing system. No doubt about it. The secondary way I do it is online. And because my platforms are set up, I am more well known as a coach, which makes it harder for me. It's easier for me to set up funnels for other people. Once you brand yourself, right, it becomes very difficult, right? So I have to understand what my greatest value and what my greatest monetization process is. Now, to understand that, I point that out for two different reasons. I've really, over the last 9 years, have focused on branding two things, okay? The first is my name. And I always say, use Google because it'll tell you the tale. And when you look at Lee Honish online, it's going to be Lee Honish and my website, which is about distressed property, my Facebook, and then people trying to figure out if it's beneficial for all of them. I'm really lucky, and I was looking at this just now. Stitcher, which is a podcasting platform, has moved up. So I will make this a point to accelerate this position in the future, okay? But the reason I'm showing you guys all of this is for a very, very specific reason. People are going to search you. They're going to click on your line one. Okay, that's just the reality of our business. People are going to go to your website, and here's my website for those of you who've never seen it, honish.com. So here's my problem. When I'm going after real estate listings, people think that it's a marketing ploy. My greatest value is going to be from getting coaching students. That's the way I branded myself online. I almost have to live and die by it at this moment. So I have to be more efficient when I'm looking for listings online, okay? So whoever's listening to this, if you give this to your friend who has a flower shop or a mattress store or they're a plumber, right? Your initial branding online is generally going to stick, and that's what you feed. So today, all of you are on this call, all of you are looking for listings or deals or buyers or sellers or whatever. You're looking to expand your business. The first thing you need to do is truly understand what you're branding. Okay. So what is your greatest value? And a lot of you don't know that. And it's really disturbing to me as a marketing guy that you don't take the time of trying to understand your basic branding. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on branding and value. I know it sounds like I am here at the beginning, but because I do so much consulting on the side, for those of you who don't know, for literally the last year, I've been doing open mixers with general businesses. This is a common problem. This is a common problem. People not seeing their greatest value. I guess the word is exploit. It doesn't sound very good when you're having a webinar, but the reality is finding your greatest value and presenting that to the general public. What is my end goal? What is the greatest thing that I can offer? And everybody needs to know this about themselves. Okay. I, in the very early days of not knowing, branded myself as Lee Honish, the coach. That's because that's what I did from 2007 forward. I branded myself as a real estate coach. It's going to be very hard for me to go back and brand myself as Lee Honish, the marketing consultant, or the marketing guy of all businesses. It doesn't matter how many awards I win, and I've won multiple awards. Okay, there are groups of nerdy marketing guys and platforms who, look at the stuff you put out and they track what your click rates are. And for the last 3 years, I'm always in the discussion. It's great. Doesn't account to sales. Doesn't mean anything more than my own ego. So how does that equate to all of you in real estate? Do you think that your clients care that you are the number one anything? I mean, I'm just being perfectly honest. I truly believe that there are some basic things when it comes to branding, right? It is the value and the greatest possible offer you can make. That's it, right? We've talked about this on other coaching calls, and I'm saying this in sort of the royal form because I'm going to use this on a platform for people who have regular businesses. It comes down to like, trust, and expertise, or the word credibility, whatever word anybody wants to use, but I believe it's expertise, right? Like, trust, and expertise. Some people insert credibility, right? So there are things that build those, like testimonials and things of that nature. And I have fought with systems to see if they produce more. I have bought ads. I have experimented. I've talked about this on calls. I have consumed somewhere in the range of 300 plus marketing books on various topics. And the ones that I get the best information on aren't on the technical aspects. There's nothing really new under the sun. Okay. I can also say this. There are also no pills or formulas that you can really buy online that will help you. If you don't know, and I know I'm only going to spend 2 more minutes on this. I'm trying to keep this structured, because if you don't know these next 2 parts, you can't move forward. You need to know what your greatest value is, right? And what your greatest offer is. If you don't know those, you can't brand those. So I started with all of my Honish.coms and everything as being a coach. So is that going to take away from me going online and getting listings as Lee Honish? It does. Now I got smarter the second time around. Okay. I have a huge podcast that I've done for quite some time. It landed me on radio. For those of you who don't know, I've actually had celebrity fights, very well known in the boxing circle. So I branded the show separately, Fight Net Radio. Now, I'm not here to get you guys to be listeners. I'm just trying to show you for the sake of content. My goal was to brand Fight Net Radio. And the 2 that I branded and that I really focused on that were a big deal were my Facebook page, right? Today, I'm going to show you the switchover branding because I've done all the back end and I've done almost all the work literally based on online, okay? I have, within the past 24 hours, launched an actual website, and I'll show you what that change looks like, okay? I'm going to show you all the steps, all the content I post, how I post my content, all of those things. but I understand what my greatest value is even for this show. The greatest value of this show is knowledge about boxing and laughing about boxing. Okay, it's an entertainment program. So the value of that has to be great. I have to provide a lot of it. I need to brand. I need logos. I need all of those things. I've got to be able to meme. I've got to be able to post. I've got to be able to take care of social media platforms. If you look, this show is branded strictly on social media platforms, more or less, right? And all of the different podcasting locations. There is a very specific reason for that. That is what I focused on. When we go back and look at Lee Honish, the first thing that I branded and went after was my own personal website, which crippled my name. Lee Honish is now a brand as a coach. Does that make sense? Is everybody on the same page? I only wanted to spend the first 15 minutes. You're going to have to spend time. You're going to have to figure this out yourself, okay? This is why consultants get paid really good money. They come in and they tell you your brand and they tell you your value, okay? And hopefully it's based on your passions or something you enjoy doing. Is everybody clear to this point? Because I'm not going to come back to this again. I'm just going to show you how these particular products run because I know what my logos are. I know what my branding is. I know where I need to be. I know where I need to be to get my clicks. The only question is, if I've done my job correctly, does it equate to a lead source? Now let's qualify this before I go one step further. Just because you're generating leads, it doesn't mean you're making sales. Got it? That's a different process. And there are tools that help, and there are paid tools that help. I'm embracing lead pages because up until this point, I just wanted to brand and create content and get sales that way. It gave me a higher client. Same with my podcast. I just wanted to create my content, put it out there, and I thought that the work would bring in more people. I now understand that if you want, thousands of hits and you want greater numbers, okay? And this isn't like a revelation to me. It's just my stubbornness for me personally. I wanted to be different. If any of you called me up and said, Lee, I want to run this, I would never tell you to do it this way because the way I did it created a ton of content, okay? And it did create a very solid following. The people that are into Lee Honish, the coach, and my marketing for real estate, and the people that are into Fight Net Radio are a very fervent crowd. No doubt about it. They are into what they're into, and I built that tribe. But now I want mainstream. Okay, certainly for Fight Net Radio, I want mainstream again. At one point, I think somewhere after radio, and we were one of the first podcasts. When people talk about millions of downloads, that was, child's play, especially when you had terrestrial radio and some of the stunts that I actually did. So that's a thing. Now, how does this equate to your business? What's your end goal, right? And we'll go back to what I said before. If you don't know your value, you don't know your greatest offer, you're not going to get that client. I know, I'm droning on about it. But if I questioned any of you at this moment, what is the number one thing you're trying to push when you go online or when you're, creating any kind of marketing? I don't even care if it's a flyer. You need to know those things. Got it? Everybody good at this point? You can raise your hand, lower your hand, say, yes, I'm here. Okay, I don't even know this. If you don't know, you don't know. It's cool. I get that. Okay. A lot of people find it very difficult to find their greatest value. Okay. And the only reason I bring that up is if you don't know your value, how are you going to push that? It isn't to answer Barbara's question because we're going to cover article posting. It's not as simple as posting an article. Where do I want them to go, Barbara? If I create an article, where do I want them to go? What do I want them to see? So I'm going to give you guys a quick example of what I mean. Okay. I'm actually going to use my mailbox. I'm going to log in, right? And I've set aside an email already for you guys to look at. This is from Jesse Garcia. He's a real estate agent, right? Somehow I got on his email list. I don't really care. It's cool. I don't mind. It happens all the time because I send out a lot of email. So people take my email and they automatically put it into their email box. Again, if you're going to play the email game, you got to be fair and let everybody have your email as well. We'll cover email shortly. Okay. This is what he sent out because he's a real estate agent. I get a lot of these. It's the future-proof kitchen with non-stick white and cabinets. Now, what is his goal from the email? I guess, okay, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. My guess, okay, is to show that future-proofing will increase the value of my home. As I scroll down and look at this picture, he wants me to click on finding about my home's worth, right? That's his end game in all of this, okay? So I'm going to click on it, which is going to put me into a new basket, which tells him that I clicked. Honestly, if he was doing this correctly, I should have an email that pops up immediately following up. He should, but I'm not here. So I'm not from Sacramento and I don't really care. So he's using a Real Geeks website. Nothing wrong with their website. They make really good websites. I think they're a little expensive. I think you can do it a lot cheaper. Okay. And basically, I'm going to put in my address and it's going to give me whatever it's going to give me. You know, I don't trust these. I don't trust Zillow. But for a normal homeowner, I get it. What I have a problem with, 123 any street, right? I guarantee it's a submit and he'll get back to me. I guarantee it. I don't think this is going to be, yeah. I would be really shocked if this, I don't even know the Rosserville. What's his zip code? He didn't put his address. Okay. Okay, so it does have a Google map. It'll probably give me address. He's not trying to capture till the second page. I would have probably captured the address and responded to him directly. That's me personally. I don't think any automated valuation is going to help you out. But, and I know this because I've purchased data from websites where people fill out forms like this and don't remember filling out these forms. From Pete Sanchez, here's a good headline too. Curious what a buyer is willing to pay for your market. When we talk about real-time fishing, Pete, you'll see how that comes into play. I don't know on an email if it's that valuable. My only thing here is the branding and what his outcome is. He basically bought this to fill out a form. Now, I've bought leads from a fill out the form website, and I have cold called those leads. And I can tell you that none of them ever remember filling out a form online, almost all of them. Okay, what's the big deal here? And the reason I'm showing you this, and I don't know this, I'm going to click on an Alexa traffic button. This lets me know how much traffic he gets. This is not Pinot's Palette. I don't know why it thinks it's Pinot's Palette. Let me see what it says up here. I don't even know why it keeps going to Pinot's Palette. Pinot's Palette is something totally different that I was looking at. Okay, close that. Nope, that doesn't do it. That's why, because that one's open. So I'll close that and I'll make this my main screen. Why won't you let me close it? Okay, I'm just trying to get you guys coherent real time. There we go. Now we can do it. All right. So what Alexa is, it shows real-time traffic, right? So I believe in Googling yourself, knowing your numbers, right? What's your branding? So his goal was to get me here. So the only question is it effective, right? If it's effective, then who am I to, you know, rain on this guy's logical parade for whatever he's doing, right? Maybe it's working. So if I click on Alexa, he's getting almost no traffic. They only rank the top 20 million websites.
To set your home and work addresses.
Alexa just cut in. Sorry. Calm down. This is
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexa off. I said the word Alexa. Yeah, I know, it's funny. Okay, so here's the bottom line and the proof in the pudding. There's only 3 sites linking him, which is horribly bad. None of what he's doing is doing really anything for him, and he's only got an Alexa ranking of 16 million, right? That's one site worldwide. It either tells me it's a brand new site. This over here is the disturbing part, the no data traffic rank in country. Okay, that's really important. Let me give you guys a comparison to why I say that. You have to know your analytics. I know that this is a long, ponderous part, just the first 30 minutes of the webinar, but if you don't understand the back end, that's not going to make any sense. I can tell you guys what would look like theory, but let's talk reality. I track all my numbers. Lee Honish, as a branded person who coaches, who has a coaching platform, has had 1,900 views on my website today. Okay, yesterday's. I had people read my articles. I had 5,000 pages hit. I have an Alexa ranking. Okay, this is my ranking against all the websites on all the World Wide Web up to 20 million. This one feature, when I look up any business, period, I consult a lot, okay, with small businesses. And they tell me about how their website does great business and there's nothing on the web. There's literally nothing on the web. These are the only numbers that matter, okay? Whereas this tells me that I'm getting ranked. I don't know how I feel about their linking system because I know I have more than 50 links and I know because I did the SEO myself. I just know there's more links. And I don't know what they're tracking, and they could only be major sites. But this number and this number are all that matters. To put that into comparison, I started implementing lead pages as my landing platforms for many of the things that I do. When people buy now the Monster marketing system, and they all have personalized URLs, right? So if you type in the listingmonster.com, it'll now take you to this page. It's a squeeze page. I get it. People want more video. It's what I'm after. I give them lots of content, explanation, and the form to fill it out. Okay. The problem I had is I didn't like how their conversion was, so I had to still use my old Wufoo form to collect the data. But I built this all myself. It's all drag and drop in, very simple. And since its launch and updates, it's had 1,246 hits. It's actually more than that, but I'm not here to have a huge discussion. What I want to show you is FightNet Radio. Now, these numbers are only about 2 days old. Okay, this site's been live for 2 days. I built from scratch using lead pages, fightnetradio.com. Why didn't it go through? www.fight. Did I misspell? There it is. And I got to turn the sound off, or we're going to be buried in sound here somewhere. It'll go. Oh, it's already off. Good. There it is, fightnetradio.com. Pretty straightforward. It is basically a click-driven website. Okay, I want people to click on the content. I want people to click on our social media links. That's it. That's the goal of the product. It's very in your face. Now, this site's been live for 48 hours. I'm beating a guy who's got a website that's been up longer than mine on Alexa ranking. And that's because I've been up for a couple of days. I did the SEO correctly. I'm bleeding in the locations correctly. And I'm already at 8 million on Alexa. I guarantee within 30 days, I will have unbelievably large numbers on Alexa, and those equate to the lead pages. Okay, that's the end game. How many people are hitting it? How many people are looking at the product? Got it? That's our goal here. It's to drag the numbers. I'm not going to get caught up on sales and conversions and all of that weird stuff. I can tell you how to follow up with them. I can tell you that you got to build relationships with them. I think you have to build content that's important. I realize that was a half hour of stuff, but if you don't have it, the next 90 minutes is literally not going to make sense. Okay? So I will cover all of these. I will show you how I have to. I literally don't have a choice. I have to look for properties in inventive ways, which is why I utilize my direct marketing, the Monster Marketing System. It's why I use Facebook groups, all of those things. So let's start. What is my goal for today, right? That's the same thing I ask myself all the time. If my goal is to get more people to go on to the Monster Marketing page, right? Then this is the landing spot of what I'm trying to achieve, right? Is this any different? Do you guys understand? Is this any different than a mattress? Is it any different than you getting a listing? Is this any different than a flower shop? Is this any different than a massage therapy place, or facials, or mortgages, or widgets, or servicing the widgets? Is this any different? Is creating a lead page any different? I like leadpages.com. I have gone all in because I can create websites and landing pages and destinations quickly. Their conversion rate calculators aren't exactly right. You have to take one of their actions, right? So in this particular case, the ending action, right, is people filling out this form, which is actually a Wufoo form, because I destroy people's credit card information once they sign in. The reason I'm showing you my Wufoo forms, it's a destination, okay? I have 320 entries. Everything is about analytics and hits, right? You can see the days that I'm generating traffic to that site. Do web hits equate to actual sales? No, they actually don't. It's if I put the right person on the right message on the right day, okay? That's the truth. But I wanted almost to prove I could generate large numbers, okay? How do you get access to lead pages from Jane? You just go to lead pages, leadpages.net. It's $20 a month, I think, but it's unlimited. I mean, their pricing is fairly unbelievable. Now, you set up one main page. I have a formula if you want to get into the whole. So I'll create, or I'll show you how these work, okay? I start off with, where do I want them to go? What do I want them to see? What do I want them to buy? What do I want to sell? What do I want to service? Whatever, okay? I decided because I was doing this webinar, I was going to create for the first time ever, and I've only done this on a select basis because it takes up too much of my time. I've decided that I'm going to do an online coaching program, right? So I created from scratch an online coaching program. I used one of their templates because when I build stuff, it comes out very dark and dreary. So I used one of their templates and I created one of their templates. Now, their solution for a conversion, right, the end game is to get a free evaluation, which I decided that I'm going to offer to everybody who watches this or listens to it. You can go to this page and you will get time with me where I will tell you what your value is, what you need to do, and what direction you need to go in, right? I also realize that there are people that want to do actual training with me. So I created a real training page explaining and outlining everything I did, right? So all of that's there. So now I have the page. I've got the end result of the action I want to take. Now, how do I get people there? I can certainly do webinars, right? I can invite and do that. I can take this as a video when I'm done and I can repost it. But to Barbara's question, or to anybody's question, how do I really influence greater numbers and drive traffic from that? To do that, you need to bait click. This is the end game. The end game is putting somebody on here, okay? I am now fully invested into the outcome of my lead pages and driving people to those sources, okay? With that said, how do I get them there? Let's go back to my website. The first way that we're going to discuss before we go on to Facebook and do all of that. And again, we've talked about this previously. When it comes to Facebook, because it is so highly ranked for you, right? I believe your Facebook and your pages need to be dialed to your message. So Facebook, for me, is very straightforward. You're not going to see any of the activities I do. I do put them out there. I literally do. I just tend to hide them after I put them on my timeline. But I tend to just focus on pictures of me with my family, okay, or things that I do and who I am, and a very clear way to contact me. Do I have a Fight Net Radio page? Yes, because of the branding, I do have a Fight Net Radio page. It exists. It is designed specifically to brand for that message. I have not created one for online coaching or for the people that I meet with. And it's hurt me. By the way, not having this has hurt me. I have been for a year doing coaching events out in Palm Springs, right? These mixers and meeting people with different businesses, and people want to hire me. I didn't ever build any of this. It was just something fun that I was doing because I understand marketing. And on select basis, I would help people, right? And that's the way that I operated that particular end of my business. Now I want to expand. Okay. How do I expand? Same thing for all of you. You've all been doing real estate for a period of time. How do I expand? So all of these things have to be dialed in, right? Lee Honish exists on multiple platforms. I know I'm talking about me in the third person. Okay. It has to be the same way for you. So what is your end result? I use lead pages. If you want, you can use Wufoo, which is free. Doesn't really matter. What are the things that I'm trying to get people to? Well, I've got an event coming up. We're all aware of it, called the Monster Marketing Event, called the Summit. I've recently changed this. I thought there were too many clicks, so I changed it and added an actual sales page right on this landing page. Once I have a page created where I want people to go, I can then go to GoDaddy. Okay, what is GoDaddy? GoDaddy is just a service that allows me to buy web domains. Got it? So I buy a web domain, then I do something that's called masking. Because if you look, these are not sexy web addresses that you can tell people about. They're just for my use. But if I type in prereo.org, look at the top of the screen. That's what happens when you don't brand it correctly. Now let's look at Fight Net Radio. This is what I'm trying to get you to see. I haven't branded that page. Okay. Now, if we go to Fight Net Radio, it's got the same unsexy looking name, right? The Monster I page /Fight Net Radio. I can't tell somebody to go there, but this one's been masked correctly. FightNetRadio.com. This is a masking feature that is available on GoDaddy, which makes whatever landing page you go to look like the actual URL. Doesn't affect the website. All of that makes sense to you. These are my destinations that I need to drive traffic to. Can everybody understand to this point? I know you're probably still stuck at, well, I don't know where I want them to land and I don't know what I want to tell them. If your goal is to get their home value, if your goal is to find people that are to buy, you need to show them something, okay? Everybody good to hear? Questions right here about lead pages or doing all these. They're all drag and drop. I mean, they're literally all drag and drop. I just take a template. Doesn't matter what it is, right? They give you versions for everything, generating leads, free guides, whatever, webinars, events, free consulting. They're going to give you a whole bunch of stuff to look at for you to work with. And they're literally just fill in the blanks. You can look at all of them. I think they even have some for real estate. I do. They're all right. I think they're under something else. I think. I use Minisite. That's how I created the Fight Net Radio one. But all of these they're the same squeeze pages you see. The reason these exist, and these actually have conversion numbers and things of that nature, the reason this exists is because that's what people expect to see, people want. Tell us more about how to do masking. Sure. It's not hard. So GoDaddy. I'll do it for you guys right now. I'm going to sign into my GoDaddy account. I buy lots of web addresses. Okay. So I've got my lead page for the event. I want this to be pre-reo.org. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so here's where I want people to land, right? I'm going to copy it. I'm going to sign into my GoDaddy account. Currently, when you type in pre-reo.org, it just takes you to that page. So I'm going to show you how the masking on this works. First of all, you got to be brave and buy really simple names that work for you on multiple levels. And they're not in alphabetical order. There it is. So it's under DNS. By the way, this is the plight of being a marketing consultant. You've got to know all this stuff. If your people don't know, and I say this to everybody who wants to hire a coach or a consultant or anybody, if they don't even know the minutia of this kind of stuff, how are they going to better your business? I think it's great that there are coaches that teach conversion. I think the lead is the most important thing. I just do. By default, you're going to get business by just dragging down pure on leads. And you will learn over a period of time what your voice is. All right, so, sorry, I was killing time while this loaded. GoDaddy's a slow website. So I'm under forwarding. I am going to edit the forwarding, okay? It's already in here, the web address where I'm sending them, which is that lead page. Now, I'm going to change it to forward with masking. Title of the website is going to be www.preo.org. The description, event, Pasadena, working with homeowners, I type slow, who have missed payments. The other great feature, it does allow for keywords, so it does get indexed by Google, in theory. Again, that's a whole different discussion. So Honish, Bartels, right? Pasadena, Monster Marketing, event, training. What's the biggest keyword for all of you? I actually know this. Realtor, broker, mortgage. Okay, that's it. Save it. In 24 hours, it'll update. Okay, and then it will ultimately, it's exactly what I have for the FightNet radio page. It'll eventually look just like that. And I'll be able to index it as its own page. Okay, now mind you, this is no different. I'm going to show you the difference. Here's the same page, FightNet Radio, but this is their page. Okay, the Listing Monster page. Okay, this is not listing, it's ipages.com. So all this is doing is helping iPages when I draw traffic here. However, when I draw traffic to fightnetradio.com, it's now an indexed maxed. So I should have fightnetradio.com at the top of page one in 2 to 4 weeks. I should, based on the traffic and what I'm doing with it. Okay. Everybody good? You guys now know how to mask and make yourselves look like you have real websites and create landing pages. And again, don't get caught up on crazy, lead page creation. There's plenty of ideas here. They have just do drag and drop. I don't even go into standard. Once I understood the basics of this, I took a template and I just changed it to what I wanted to do. I didn't get crazy. I just literally, it doesn't matter they don't have, I want all pages. All types, real estate, they have them. You deserve your dream home. This is what it'll look like. You clean it up, you drop in houses. Now you at least have a landing page. I don't know what their end goal is. Let me see what their goal is. View complete listings. That's a goal. It's not a bad goal, but it's a goal. Mark Doris, what are your thoughts on linking affiliated products from third-party suppliers to our real estate? I have no issue with it. The reason I do a podcast for the sake of our discussion and on my platform is because I don't know if I can make it work, but I'm going to try if you guys can hear this. So here's the Fight Net Radio page, right? Somebody hits it, it's immediately going to come on. Let's see if it turns on.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you
Does that answer
from
your question?
unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive
I'm pushing
rate
Jay
split
Farner.
approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days.
I
Then
hope
if
they
rates
click
go
on
up,
it.
Your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your...
Does that answer your question, Mark, on my logic of it? Everything's about monetization. Okay, Barbara. Confused. Do all the pages go to one spot to be counted together? No. All the pages don't go to one spot to be. Fightnetradio.com is indexed by itself. Preario.org, which I don't think is going to be live yet. It takes a few minutes. Yeah, it's still being forwarded. It's being this would be indexed with all the other iPages. Everything is about the .com. This part is where it goes. So if you have a website that's a Keller Williams website, the only person who's getting anything out of it is Keller Williams, not Barbara Frisbee. Does that make sense? That's why you have to have a domain and why you have to index that domain. I realize this is a lot of time on the front end, okay, for those of you looking for the meat and potatoes, but you can't move forward, okay? I'm literally trying to give you a very general training on everything you need to do to make this presence work. Okay, so this guy's end goal, right, was to get me to fill out this form on his website, and I guarantee his contact us is a form. Nothing I hate worse than contact forms for contacting us. I just hate them. I hate him. Does he have his phone number on the front page somewhere? I hope. Nope. I don't even see his phone number. How is his phone number not on the front page of this? And I say this to anybody who's watching this with their small business, their service, or all of you in real estate. You drove me to this based on this email. This was email marketing. He paid for it through, let me take a wild guess. Who's he using? I don't know. Email.rg. I'd have to look it up. But he sent out this email, bulk emailed, right? He wants me to go here, and his phone number is not here. So I got to go back to the email, I guess, and look up Jesse and get all his information down here. I don't know how it's not on your website. I don't even know how he allowed Real Geeks to do this. Like, there's nothing. Like, there's the logo. Why isn't the logo on the other page? Why isn't all of this over here? But you drove me to this. Does that make sense? Whatever you drive people to, that's where they're going to work. And I'm just pointing this out because we're doing real estate. There are some huge flaws in what he set up here. Okay? Huge flaws. I have no other options or out other than to really turn this page off. When I try to drive someone to a page, right? Let's take the Monster Marketing page. I'm going to give you a lot to do. Okay? I want a video. I'll give you another video. I'll give you testimonials. I'll give you another video. And these are broken down from the same training, right? How does, what's the system include? If you click right here, it'll start right at what it includes. This is just on the actual sales pitch. And then the form. I don't know if people want to click. I don't, let me answer a couple of these questions and then we'll move forward and start driving people to these pages. All right. Barbara, can we work the two together? Company website and another one I set up. We do have a CRM and market. Yeah, look, I'm not opposed to it. Again, Barbara, is that your value? Is your value getting people onto a page that you've already established? I'm not trying to say no. I'm just telling you there are 30 people on this call, and if I go down the list, they've got nothing. They don't even have the corporate website. They're not going to be brave. They're not going to raise their hand. They're not going to pony up for this at all. Okay? I know because I've consulted with so many. I did an event last week, okay, maybe a month ago, this one I do in Palm Springs. I'm available to talk to everybody after the event. I talk to them about their businesses. I help them find their values, for free, okay? This is not charging you. I don't want to hire you as a client, where I've had people just walk over. Yeah, I want to hire you. I want to sit down and, what do you charge? Like that blunt. I don't just work with people. Okay, it just doesn't work that way because I do get listings, because I do create podcasts, because I have all of you as a coaching group. You are a large number of people. Okay, it's a mom and pop shop, so I've got to be diligent with my time because no joke, being a single dad, right, a divorced dad, is a full-time job, right? That's a whole different creature. So I want to be able to do stuff that I can do behind a screen, and here's why to answer your question, that's a long answer, and I made it very general for everybody on the call. Every one of you is unique. Got it? That's really the important thing here. You're all unique. Your value propositions are unique. You don't have to use lead pages. You don't. Okay? You don't. You can use your site. If that's your goal and you think it converts and you've actually seen it create a funnel, right? You've got a sales ad, you've got a flyer, then use it. I'm not trying to stop you from it. I just know that you're going to have holes in your game. That's a very common occurrence. 3 months ago or 4 months ago, just before the end of the year, a guy walks up to me. I asked him about it. I go through, I have a list of questionnaires. Do you have an online content? Blah, blah, blah. Do you have landing pages? Do you have a website? He goes, no, I just use my card. I'm a divorce attorney. I'm like, that's very bold. And he wanted me to just review his pictures that he used and what I thought about his picture. Excuse me? I literally had to do a double take. Excuse me? That's a real thing. People don't grasp. And he was dead serious. He wanted more business, was ready to pay all my prices. I said, that's great, but that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. If you don't learn to do this for yourself and drive your traffic for yourself to a place, it's never going to work. I've done for you stuff. I've done for you stuff for this coaching group. I've done for you stuff in regular business. First of all, done for you stuff, you expect results. If it doesn't get that result, then it's a failure. Okay? I can show you leads all day, but if they don't convert to a sale of anything, then that's why I don't do done for you stuff anymore. Okay? Because I don't know your level of competency on the conversion. I can guess, I can hope for it. Does that make sense? So if you have something that worked for you, don't change it. Don't. You can always mask and cover up and drive people in from easier web addresses and things of that nature. But your final outcome has to be pretty determined. Where do I want people to go? Okay? I am going to show you first, for the next hour, I'm just going to show you driving content to these pages and why when I look at my lead pages, okay, I'll show you again, maybe those numbers escaped you. This is me personally, my own business. I want 1,200 hits. I want 1,185 people. I want them listening to the show. To go back to Mark's point, why do you want people going to VightNet Radio? It doesn't make money. It does for Jay Farner. That's why he's paying money to me for that ad at the beginning of my show. It's a service I use. I don't really. Now, I do have, to answer your question even further, Mark, like LasVegasDiscount.net. This is something I use at the beginning of a lot of my podcasts. Discount.net is for Vegas.com. But it's my link, so I think I get 1% or 2% or whatever crazy number it is if people go to lasvegasdiscount.net. There are ways to find monetization, but it's all based on content. I can't just tell people, hey, I found great prices at lasvegasdiscount.net. I mean, they're great. The prices are great. Me personally, I use Priceline. I like Priceline. I like blind bidding. I like Last Minute Travel Club. I rarely use Vegas.com when I go to Vegas. Rarely. Okay. But do I want people who listen to my podcast to do it? Yes. Okay. Because it makes sense to do it. And therefore, that means I need to create more content, right? Does that make sense? There's a philosophy that works around here that we use. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm all for making art for the sake of art, and I'm all for creating content. But I'm fascinated with people on Facebook that are in businesses doing very crazy things with their Facebook feeds, right? Exclude your family, okay? Exclude businesses. I'm following a business. Andrea is a girl that I do jujitsu with. She's posting information about her business. This is really smart. She's using her circle of influence to buy this product out of this shop, Oh Good Cheer. I was very impressed with this. Okay, they've got a page. They're posting stuff. Want to see the number one problem that I see? It's screaming at me. Over here, there's a description usually. There's no phone number, and I'd have the web address over there. It's over here to get to their information. She's on Etsy. So she's just recently started this, something she's doing out of her home. She's like 23 or 24. Yes, she beats me up, for anybody who's wondering, a lot. In fact, it's almost comical how much better at jiu-jitsu she is than me. I'm going to help her and give her suggestions on having a personalized branded thing. She should have information over here. Again, these are little details, but those little details make a huge difference when you're driving traffic. Again, we've talked about this on coaching calls. If I'm talking about a drop at the end of a straw and there's any holes within that straw before I get there, it's not going to matter what I teach you. It's not going to be me showing you how to pull articles and do backlinking and finding the end goal. So if my end goal, so let's just get right into it, is all of that covered? Is everybody good to this point? I know it's a big preamble. Is everybody good to hear? I know you guys want meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes are simple because I do them all day long. Andrea probably has better balance and probably is more flexible. Yeah, and she's young. Barbara, I don't think there's enough in the company. Yeah, okay, we covered that. Mark, he just slapped it. Yeah, he did. This is not a squeeze page. This is part of his bigger website. I get that. My problem with this website is where do I got to click here to go home. This should be clickable. This should be a logo and clickable. Like he bought the cheapest website he could. Okay. And it shows. Nobody's going to this website. I mean, I'm impressed that it's at least ranked. Most of you, if I Googled, you guys are all going to do this when I leave. Go to Alexa or get the Alexa app. I have to be careful or I'll turn the real Alexa on. Alexa traffic rankings are what everybody in the industry. Alexa off. I knew it was going to happen. Your traffic ranking just shows that you're being ranked. I don't know how accurate it is, but in my industry, people do look at it. There are many who say it is crap. I agree. I think it is crap. Okay. I would much rather look at my site stats, my Google Analytics, but every chance I get, I want to see the number of people that are doing what they're doing. Because if it's not getting any hits, coding. I was doing coding on that page. How exciting, right? So Always Be Marketing is an event page that I haven't finished. It'll have its own branded piece, but I was testing it and I put it onto the Facebook group that we have. So we created Always Be Marketing. This is a website that has 35 members that we started after the last event. The people who organized the event, Fred, myself, and a couple of other people, have decided that we should have an outcome from this event other than it just being a mixer or me people teaching marketing for 20 to 30 minutes at a clip. So they're deciding that it should be a group and maybe a consulting group and things of that nature. I don't know. They're still talking about it. There's too many working cogs and it's not just me. If it's just me, I'll be doing it. But if you go to alwaysbemarketing.org, it'll take you to the lead page that I have not yet set up. That's the end game. And I guess they're going to create a coaching group. I guess they want me to teach people marketing. I guess. It is a guess. There are a lot of working parts and multiple players who all have businesses of their own. I guess. Okay. I just say yes. If it works, then, you know. And we have web guys that are better at this stuff than me. My job is to only know what they're doing. I mean, there are guys who know finites of web traffic and marketing far beyond my scope. Not beyond my scope, but beyond what they're willing to do and what I'm not willing to do before I hire somebody. All right. So we now have a landing page. So if we're doing this correctly over the course of the first hour, which seems ponderously long, it does for me because we're not at the meat and potatoes. I've determined what my value is. I've determined what my outcome is. I've determined what my offer is. I've determined where I want them to go, right? I know the difference of what I want them to see and what I want are numbers, right? Let the lead pages do what they do. Let the click events happen, do what they do. And again, I'll say this because you guys were probably going to sign up for lead pages. I think it's great. The cheapest version will let you create all the pages you want. This conversion number is not actual. It's only if they take one of their actions. If I set up a HTML form, let me show you what that looks like. So Monster Marketing just got an HTML form, right? Which goes to to this, okay? This is where I'm actually tracking the number of people who are looking at that page. Does that make sense to everybody? So when people hit the page, they're going to go through it. They're going to scroll down. As you noticed, I did try to take a few things out that normally happen within my industry, like start now, click here, start. I'd rather them see all the content, take it all in. I'm looking for a very specific client. If I can't get them to watch a 60-minute webinar like all of you did, then I'm not really sure I want them as a client because they're too much work. And I'm at a point where I don't need everybody in real estate doing the monster. So it's a much more low-keyed approach. And there's the forum. This is my end game. This forum won't be tracked by lead pages. One of my bigger issues with their product. They do have Google, for those of you that are real nerds, they have Google Analytic overlays. Okay. Mark Doris, I only use the company KW site currently. What order should I build my online real estate business? Should I start with lead page from lead page or go to like WordPress to build a dynamic page or just focus on the Facebook group? All those are good questions. This is why I'm going to tell you already. Go to leehonish.info and just fill out the form and I'll help you figure it out. I mean, if I did this on a case by case, I don't know. Where do you want them to go, Mark? I mean, if we sat down on the phone, let's just call it like it is. Where do you want them to go? What do you want them to do? What action do you want them to take? Don't tell me you want all of it because you're asking a lot out of a drop of water, right? I can tell you what Andrea wants on her sales. She wants people to go to Etsy. I said it correctly. I always say Andrea. It's Andrea. And the Dreys get really upset if you don't get it right. She has a simple goal, right? She wants me on Etsy buying her product. She does. So she's got a storefront. She makes Mickey ears. That's how she supplements while she goes to school. Smart. She can make them at home. This is what she wants me to do. And to be perfectly honest, I will probably buy some from my daughter just because I think they're horribly cute. Having a daughter. I digress. She's just made a couple of simple mistakes, but she's just worried about her sphere of influence, right? So, Mark, my question is, where do you want him to go? What do you want him to do? I know what I want people to do. I mean, it's just that simple. I want him to either see Lee Honish as a coach, or I want him to see Lee Honish, the podcaster. Because they monetize, these are my monetized funnels. I'm going to do online training, right? So there'll be leehonish.info, and it's branded and it's linked. It's up, it's live. You're the first webinar. This is going to go over to the Always Be Marketing group. It's going to go out to the list of people that were at the last event. This video right here will get swapped out with the video they're watching right now. Do I expect them to watch 2 hours? I hope. And I'm not just saying that because, like, wow, I know people jump off early. If people jump off early, that's because they think they know everything. The first hour of this training was crucially important because you got an hour of free consulting in a very general way. Okay. And because I can see the value in it, I do want to give people a chance to talk to me on the phone and tell me their business. Because, Mark, you have a good question. Like, I can't answer it. It's not that I won't, right? Should I start with a lead page or should I start with a WordPress? I've got all of it. But where's my end game, right? So let's go back to Honish.com to answer one of these questions. Thanks, Barbara. All right, so let's start with Barbara's question. How do I article post? All right, I know what my end goal is. I want them to buy a Monster Marketing System. And guess what? I also want them to come to an event in Pasadena. So I post articles, and I have a website, and I have something called a wheel that I run. So this was one of the last articles I ran. It did very well. I'm very lucky. I'm not like David. I'm not clever. I don't have a service that provides me great content. I fish my content every day. So when you hit the front page of my website, that, by the way, for real estate agents, again, know your niche. What are you looking for? Buyers, sellers, homeowners, people trying to, all of those things matter. Local to the niche. This is, again, why it's crucial. There's a reason for consulting. Again, this is another mind-boggling thing as somebody who's now been consulting for the last God knows how long. I've done real estate offices. When they tell me they know what their market is or they know what their niche is and what their actual formula is just expansion. I'm just going to keep branding and expanding. Branding and expanding. How many of you have seen that in real estate? Branding and expanding. Branding and expanding. Okay, what are you doing with every single click and call that comes in? Like when you look at the lead breakdowns, it's mathematics. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that for all of you, but some of you are brokers on this call, right? One of the common things when I do an entire office, what a feat, right, is breaking the broker. I'm branding and expanding. I just want more business. We're just not making the money we should. It's because you're branding and expanding and it's expensive. You're just hiring agents, branding and expanding. I'm going to be everywhere. Branding and expanding. That'll get me more listings. More. Okay. So you got 300 signs up in the city. Each sign, based on math, should generate 10 to 15 calls per day. That's 3,000 calls on all your open house signs. Where are they all going? Over here. Where are they going from over there? Well, they're going up on a board. Then we have buyer's agents. So, and that's a pecking order usually within the agent. You can see where the leads fall apart when you start to break down pipelines and processes. Okay. So keep your processes simple that you can do. Online is no different than real-time marketing. Does that make sense to answer your question, Mark? So if my goal is to just get him to sell a monster or just to brand Lee Honish, I can make those things happen. I'm fortunate because I've been doing it long enough that my platforms are already in place. So let's start with one of the methods that I use to get leads. Okay. I have a blog. I am okay with blogs. You can do them on Facebook. Like Fight Net Radio doesn't have a blog on its website. It's just Instagram and Facebook. That is the lead source I've chosen to use, okay? And I'll cover that next. So fight for Monster Marketing, Lee Honish, the coach, right? And this would go to me being an online coach. This is going to be put into every corner where everybody's looking for coaching. I don't know if I'm going to blog this. I may run this more like I did Fight Net Radio, with more content-based and social media-based, because I really want people to watch the training and understand that you can't just go on Facebook and hire one of these guys with a magic pill and a magic formula for a Facebook ad. It doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. You're just going to spend money. That's why when you hear David talk about doing it himself, there's a logic behind that. He has paid people. Done for you is not really that accurate. Everybody has a different expectation of the result. Got it? Okay. Mark Doris, yes, that makes sense. I appreciate your direct coaching attitude. I like that you cut through the bullshit and tell us what we need to know. It's not even about the bullshit, Mark. I mean, the reality is I'm competing right now. Let's just say I wanted to get online coaching business. Like, not you guys, you're already an hour invested. Okay. Let's just say that I want to get anybody on Facebook. Because this runs an algorithm, I'm going to get ads like this. This is an ad for hypnotherapy certification. I'm going to get ads. I don't know what their formula is. That's an ad. No, that's an ad, right? I'm competing with that. So how do I compete with an ad every 5.5 minutes, right? I mean, that's the reality. How am I competing with Facebook ads that are everywhere? How am I competing with pop-ups that are on websites? I mean, all of that has to come into play. So I have to play that game too, but I have to be smarter about it. Okay. So I'm going to bait people into what's called permission-based marketing. I'm a huge believer in it. I'm going to give them something they want, and I'm going to lead them down a road to where I want them to go. Not all of them, just those that are interested in what I have to say. And I'm going to make it very clear every step of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is not do this. This is painful. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an article. In this particular case, I used a Redfin article. I'll even show you where it came from. Redfin sex dungeon listing. I spelled it wrong. They'll get it right. Of course they did. It was on Thrillist. It was everywhere. I found this because I Googled for that niche, right? Did they take the photos down? They've taken the photos down. That's crazy. You telling me I'm one of the last guys with the photos? There it is. Gig is where I took my article from. This is the original article I started with, to answer your question, Barbara. With the sex dungeon photos. First thing I did is I copied, saved image. Now this can be done for any market or anything. I'm just showing you how I did it to drive an ungodly amount of traffic based on this one article. Because real estate agents loved this one. And the second highest performer that I've had in the last 30 days is the half-naked photos on a listing. Agent uses half-naked photos to sell listing. She wasn't getting any action, so she hired actors to walk around the house half naked, male and female, so she didn't offend anybody. Smart move. Good marketing. I posted it in the coaching room. And again, what's that equate to? I will show you. Here's the goal. If you're going to post this on Facebook or you're going to send it out as an email, the goal has to be, what does it do for my traffic? Look carefully at the number I have coming in from Facebook as a referral source. It's a really high number on a daily basis. Okay. I've ramped up over the last couple of weeks, really pushing out more content and dragging in bodies to my website. I've been a little lazy. So I have these weird lulls where I only get, 741 views, 1,000 views, whatever. And then periods of time, I'll crank it out and drive as much traffic as I can. I can't see any difference in sales, to be perfectly honest. Agents for this particular product, Monster Marketing, it is a very select group of people in a very large haystack. That's why the more general your message is, the better your results are going to be. Does that make sense? I know it goes back to what we said. All right, so I found the article. Got it? I have a very simple formula for my articles. I copy it, just like this, not difficult, all of it. Right click, copy, open up Microsoft Word. All of you have it. Any of you know how to code? Got to know how to do that too. And then I right click and I paste. Just the text. I'll show you what it looks like if you don't make it all text. It looks like this. There. This is the real article as it appeared. Okay? I don't want all of that stuff. There's too much code. It's not going to work well on my website. I'm just going to make it text. Then I take the article. Okay? And I'm going to delete all the extra lines. Now I have the actual article. There it is. That's the whole article. How did Digg stretch this out? Look at how they stretched out this bait. The article is 2 paragraphs. There's the front of the house. There's the sex dungeon. The rest of this is ads. This is an ad. This is a photo that they wanted. They're actually pretty low. They've got 2 ads on it. That's a pretty painless website. I didn't see if it had a pop-up of a video or something else. They do want to redirect me through the article, so that's their goal. This is the bait. All of this is recorded, Luis. So that was their goal. How do I recreate this goal? Okay, so Barbara wanted to know. So I have the article. I have those 2 photos. I need a landing place for that content, right? You can do this on your personal webpage. You can do this on a mini site on my pages. You can create a blog. If you guys want to create a blog, all of this stuff is free. I'm always amazed when people pay for websites and stuff. All of this stuff is for free. You can learn how to do it. You can go to WordPress.com, get a free blog. Follow me. Then go to GoDaddy for $8 for a domain. Mask it back to your WordPress website if you really need a WordPress website. Answer your question, Mark. I'm not opposed to WordPress website. It indexes pretty quick. And if your goal is to get found online, then you're going to have to create as much web content as possible. That's a very long, drawn-out answer. Got it? All right. My website is WordPress. It is, but it's also very slow and chunky the bigger it gets. My website's 7 to 10 years old, and it's very slow because it's filled with content, right? Think of it like a giant ocean liner. WordPress is holding all of that and indexing it all on the web. So it's just like the amount of space that's on the water pushing it along. So the website itself is much slower because of that fact, okay? So here's the way I laid out my article, and I'll show you how it looks in WordPress. So I did the same thing to answer your question, Barbara. At the top of the page, I want them to click and find out about new listings with distressed homeowners. If they click on this image, which I change constantly, it will take them to my landing page. That's my end game. Here's the actual article. There is where it came from. I give all the credit. I bait with the pictures below. What's stuck in the middle? My podcast for distress marketing, right? Right in the middle. Right in the middle. Also a link to where? A landing page. Win-win. Another picture of the actual listing, and then the picture of the actual sex dungeon. And then at the bottom, the same ad that's at the top. Are you struggling to get listings? Okay. Work with homeowners that have missed payments. Click on the little icon. They're back on the page. Am I doing anything different than everybody else is doing? Yeah, I'm not having bright stuff bounce up on the sides of my screen, and I could probably do things that are a little more eye attracting. I've worked out sizes on the ads at the top, but as long as they're able to see the headline, it all works. So now I have a link on my website, right, Barbara? Now I can take that and copy that link once this page is created, right? It's all done. Do you want to see what it looks like from the inside on how it's made? Because once the template's made, it's easy to tweak. It's a template, and I can do it with any article that's real estate related that I think real estate agents are going to want. So this thing at the top is not going to change. This. I will occasionally change this date, and I will occasionally change this icon. Then the article first half, usually only about a paragraph if you want my opinion. I only put about a paragraph in the first part. And then this will either say continued below or pictures below. In the middle is the code for my podcast player, and that's to my real estate podcast. And then a link for the event, right? Then a picture, then another ad. So when I change this, I would change the content in here up to here. All this can be changed. All right. That's what I'm going to change with the next article I look up. And then I'll change this to either written content or photos. And believe it or not, I'll just move over to text. I will right click, actually Control A, copy the whole thing, copy it, then add a new post. It's not going to save the one that I just changed. So that page is still intact. But when I create a new post, I'm just basically taking the template of the previous one, changing the content in it, and creating a new post with it. So you want to see what it looks like in real time and how fast it actually is for me. I'm not going to try to speak too much because I'm going to try to do one really fast. The first goal for me, because I know my niche, I'm looking for real estate agents. I just go to Google. I don't use any fancy services. Type in the word realtor. If I'm lucky, I get a home run. I always use news articles. Pick and choose the home of Baltimore. That's crap. Send creative account to Hugh now. Suburban home with sex dungeon. They just jumped on it 7 hours ago. By the way, they only know about it because I indexed it and blew it up first, but good for them. And that was 3 days ago. I tend to, because my news stream is so big and my email list is so big, I get better action. And then I see news stories start everywhere else. Sales. No. None of these are going to be appealing to real estate agents. You have to spend a little bit of time. Housing. Some on-base military are infested with mold. Vancouver. Let's go with the basics. Home sales. I'm just going to find one for the sake of doing it. Something good. I don't try to put stuff on my website that I don't want to delete later. Jeez. We had a pending sales report. Pending home sales. There we go. There's one that came out on January 30th. That's fine. So pending home sales dropped. There's a shocker. Everybody's been waiting. This is a Diana Olnick article. I'm going to use it. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly the same formula. Right-click, copy the top part of the article. I'm going to open up Microsoft Word, Control A, and then I'm going to Control V and paste the whole piece. I'm going to turn it into text, which is this little button on the end. Keep text only. Okay? I know I'm going fast. I'm going to clean this article up so that I can post it. Okay? And these are all bullet points, and I like when she does this a lot. This is just the way she puts out an article. I've used her stuff before. I'm going to keep the bullet points. I'm going to keep the @Diana Olnick because that gives credit. I'm going to keep the credit page. I'm going to right-click, copy the web address, source it. Now, by the way, I don't make it a clickable link. That's just me. You can do what you want to do, but I don't. Okay. That's going to be the first part of this article. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to even cut it because I don't need it anymore. Let's go back to our website page, shall we? Where are we? Right there. I'm going to take my last article, which is the Redfin Dungeon article. I'm going to edit the post. First thing I'm going to do is update, click here, and change this to today's date, 2/15. Okay. Try to keep things look fresh and current. That's me. Then I'm going to copy and remove this section of the article from the previous article. I'm going to right-click, paste that information from Microsoft Word. I'm going to change the sizes and pretty it up so people can find it. And then I'm going to change this to continued below. I always do that. I saw they do it in articles or continued on page 7. They don't do it much anymore on websites. They just assume you'll keep scrolling. I don't. Okay, so that's the first part of our article, right? What's the second part of our article? I don't imagine it's going to be much because it's kind of a shit show. Well, it's not long. So I'm going to just copy this section. Copy. Right-click, copy, go back to Microsoft Word. I'm going to paste it. Control V. I'm going to turn it all to text. That's important. I want all that nasty code out of there. I'm going to tighten this up. I don't need all the spaces. It just takes up space on my website. People are going to read it who are going to read it, okay? Copy, cut, back over to our article. Scroll down. I'm going to take the pictures out now, right? And I'm going to paste. And now I've got brand new content for my website, right? I'm going to change the date on this link down here. So it's fine-tuned. Then I'm going to go over to text. This is HTML code. You don't need to know how to do coding. Control A copies everything on this screen. I'm going to copy it. Click on Add New Post. I'm going to leave the page. By the way, this formula can be reproduced on any I paste it as text, Barbara. So now I go over to text again. I'm going to right-click and paste the HTML code that I just made on the other side. I'm going to, it's already removed me from that page. So in case you're wondering, here's the original Redfin article. It has not changed, right? I didn't click save. I didn't make any change. I just used it as a template. Now, I'm over on my new page. I'm going to use their headline, copy it. Going to paste that as my title. I'm going to scroll down. I have SEO plugins for my website, which by the way, slow my website down. Paste. I'm going to set a featured image. I have lots of them. Always add photos. Photos are important. Doesn't really matter what it is. I have generic ones. You need to add the alt text to each of these. I'm just doing it really fast. I'm just pasting in the title of this article, then set featured image. I'm going to click on the tabs link and I'm going to paste it in, and then I'm going to publish. Now, literally in 5 minutes, I've now created a new, this would be the worm on the hook. Got it? That's funny, Wade. I'll go with, I'm not sure, but neither here nor there. It's very funny. Thank you for writing that. Made me smile. All right, so here's the finished product. We'll look at it at the front page of our website. Now, I don't care. To answer your question, Mark, did I make a mini site on iPage? Did I use the corporate website? Did I use a WordPress blog? Don't care. It's just bait on a hook. Okay? There it is. Position 1 with a photo, indexed. It's already automatically been sent off and posted to Facebook and a half dozen other places because those are built-in plugins. And that's neither here nor there. But this is the article I wanted to post. It's good for my industry. I got my link. That's right. So the bait is the article. The hooks are to get them to click here. To get them to click here. See if I get an ad.
There were smoking sections on airplanes.
A Juul ad. Great. I'm promoting Juul. Click here to register for the event. Or to click here and go back to the Monster Marketing System. The reason I'm pointing all that out, here is their source link. Notice I didn't make it clickable. I give the source. I don't have to make it a link. Does that answer your question? I know I said it very fast, Barbara. Are there questions about this particular form of content creation? Now, distribution of this article. All right, I have a formula. Copy this link. Start with Facebook. Okay, I'm going to distribute it the same way I would post anything else. By the way, I'm going to distribute this in my main timeline. I'm also going to put it in all my various pages that are germane to real estate, all the groups that I'm related to. I'm just showing you my basic formula for an article post. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Facebook. Click first line. I do a 4-line format, and I'll show you both how I use them. Okay. So 4-line format. Click. Share are always the first 2 words of everything I do. Be creative for yourself. And know the real estate market. Pending home sales drop. Now I'll add, it hasn't converted out to what it's actually going to lay out as. I have 2 more lines that I can still use. So if I'm doing something that has more complexity to it, I might add it. But in this particular case, I'm just going to paste the link at this point. And that's what the finished product's going to look like, just like that. Facebook automatically pulls a photo from the website and the headline. I can include it in my personal story as well, and then hit share. Got it? From here, I like to take this article and share it to groups, right? And type in, all I have to do is type in REAL, and it'll give me a list of groups to share it to. But normally, if I had more time, because I can do 2 hours on Facebook, I'm only going to cover some of the basics so you guys can get started. So Realtor Discussion Forum, I'm going to paste the article again. And that's on me. I didn't copy, cut, and paste correctly. That's all right. And then post it. And I can do this for all the different groups that I'm associated with that have real estate agents. So I'm basically fishing. So now I got a link. I'm going to do Twitter. Twitter's no different. I'm going to try to tag everybody that I can, because it will help propel it. Right? At CNBC, they should have one. Come on. Stop being so slow. at Diana Olick. Article on current housing market pending home sales at blah blah at Lee Honish. I'm gonna tag myself and then I'm gonna paste the link. Simple as that. Done. Sorry, didn't need the second one. Tweet. Simple as that. Now I will do this as well for LinkedIn. I have that account. Google Plus doesn't exist anymore based on what I saw in an email. I'm not sure. But I'll do LinkedIn, I'll do Twitter, I'll do Facebook, and then I will send out an email. So I have Zoho. I will send out an email. And I have a formula. I'll show you one of those formulas. I'm not going to go through. Actually, I will. I think it's okay. I can do it. I think I can get this out pretty quickly. Campaigns, regular. This is my format. I don't care what email platform you use. You need to start building lists. It's just crucial. This should be the Redfin article. So I'm going to copy this one and use that as a clone just because it'll save some time. I'm going to change the title. Pending home sales. Not going to get a great result, but save it. Sex Dungeon gets more clicks and opens, just being perfectly honest. I'm just doing it for the sake of our discussion. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to go to next. So I have a formula again. Pending home sales. Drop. You need a header. Done. I'm going to edit the content. I do like pictures. I don't need them all the time, but I think in an email they're important. So again, this is just like fishing, to go back to Mark's question, right? I'm just putting out the best possible bait to get a result, right? I'm going to change my photo to that. So now I get a photo in. Change this to pending home sales drop. Just typing over the last one. Really, it's not, this isn't really rocket science. Then I'm going to go to my actual article, right? I'm going to take the bullet points. I like those, copy them. Then I'm going to go over to my email, change this to the bullet points, Control V, print as plain text. I'm not liking any of it. Let's do it again. It's a problem with this particular program. Text, regular text. I'm going to Control V and paste again. December, yeah, that's fine as it is. I'm okay with it. I'm going to blow it up so it fills up the screen. So it's change this. This is just a link. I'm going to delete it and do it from scratch. I don't want to save myself any of the difficulty. So I'm going to get a button, a nice round one, and I'm going to drop it right here. Button name, real simple, read more. Web address is going to be this, copy it. Back over, right click, paste, save. It's done. That's the bait. You just put what Zoho product. This is my regular campaigns and email. This would be no different than MailChimp, Constant Contact. You have to find which one works actually best for you, that you're comfortable with when you're list building. If you want to stick with free, stick with MailChimp. Building out an email by this formula: photo, headline, paragraph, read more. That's my formula. Save and proceed. Not going to have a high open rate. I just already know real estate agents. I'm just doing this fast. I have a very large list. So I'm going to select everybody. I'm going to include you guys. So you guys, actually, I'm going to do it the way I normally do it. I take out my coaching group. I don't think you guys want bait emails. I don't think you're into it. So I tend to take you guys out of the mix. So I exclude you. If you are getting them, my apologies. Okay, it's going to exclude all of you that are on 2 lists. I'm going to click next and then send it for a review. That's how you do an article. Now, I just have to wait for it to be approved and hit the send button. If I did any of this correctly, right, I don't know. Our goal is going to be to see a result over here on the right. So let's see if anybody's clicked on the article as of yet. I don't care if it's one. It hasn't gone out to my email list. It hasn't done anything. Pending home sales. Oh, there's 2 of them already. I win. That's real time. If any of you have 2 people looking at you or have the potential of 2 people looking at you within 15 minutes, please let me know how that formula works or how that's working for you. Are there questions about this setup? Did that answer your question, Barbara, on how I run it? I used to do it a different way. This is a much more efficient way. Did my sound go up? No, I think everybody can hear me, right? According to my device, you should still be able to hear me. Still recording. Everybody hear me? Hello? These are my WordPress stats, but I track, Diana, Barbara, I track my stats on multiple platforms, and guess what? They all have different answers. So who's got reliable information? These are usually just first-time visitors to the website, which isn't always true. So any is better than none. More is better than not more. Does that make sense? When you're fishing this particular way for leads, more is better. Barbara Frisbee. So is WordPress better than lead pages? They're different. Remember, lead pages are just a result, right? The result is I want a squeeze page for somebody to go to my event. My WordPress website, I'm getting 2 things. I'm getting 2 things from it, Barbara. Okay, by people going to that particular, going to Honish.com. Okay, I'm getting many actually for this article, to be precise. Okay. Number 1, they're on my website, which means more branding for Lee Honish. Better SEO, better tracking, better increase. Number 2, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hooks in the water that monetize. Does that make sense? So what's the difference between posting an article and making this find out your home's value, some kind of video content about you or a testimonial in the middle, which creates credibility and branding, and then something to find out about buying a new home at the bottom of an article. Where can I do this? You can do it on your own webpage. You can do it on the KW website. You can make a mini site on, do a free WordPress blog if you really want to have a place to do it, just so that you can get the word. The only thing a website really does at the end of the day, overall, really, in my humble opinion, Honish.com is very good for making Lee Honish, the name, the coach in real estate, stand out. Jane Nathan, I post articles on WordPress, but I don't get any clicks. It is the articles, or do we have to do some promotion? Oh, yeah, you have to do both. Did you see what I just did, Jane? I posted it while we were sitting here. I ran a very mild Facebook campaign. I didn't do it very heavily. Posted it to Twitter, and I'm sending it to my email list. You got to go post it. You got to stick it into every corner, and you hope that somebody clicks and likes so that it goes viral. I have 5,000 people who follow one of my pages on Facebook. I have another 3,000. Like, my exposure on Facebook is 10,000, and with the groups that I'm in and the numbers I can actually put an actual article in front of when I'm done is probably around 100 or 200,000. Probably. Boxing's around the same number for Fight Net Radio. But that's, we've talked about this on previous calls, and Pete Sanchez is probably still here, right? It's still about physically joining these groups and posting content into these groups, right? It's about tribe building. But the end game is to get them here and reading the article. Once they're here, I want them to take one of my 4 actions that I've laid out for them. That's article posting. That is one form of marketing. That is one. I don't do any of that for Fight Net Radio. I don't do that for that page at all. I will give you guys a couple of bonuses that I do, which is I podcast. Okay, I don't know why you guys don't create more video or audio or write a blog or do something or take photos. I don't care. But you got to do something. You got to create content. Okay? Nobody likes this answer. I, a long time ago, created Perfect Blue Studio because I figured out public profile shows. I figured out a long time ago that if I created a lot of shows, I could run a lot of ads. This used to be 4 times as long, and I used to have a lot of shows. I've kept it down to a much lower number on purpose, because I've also discovered that most of you shouldn't be allowed to create a podcast on your own, and I only have so much time in the day. This is what I particularly do. I also have YouTube channels. Okay? No question about my YouTube channels. You got to have them. YouTube doesn't index as well as Facebook, by the way, for searching your name. I love that there used to be stuff about YouTube is one of the best search engines. It's okay. I don't think it's any better than Instagram or Facebook, but that's just me. Okay. How to join a Facebook group, and then we'll post the content that we just had, right? So here's Facebook. Your goal is to look for a homeowner. Your goal is to look for somebody that wants to buy Mickey ears. Whatever the case, there's only one real way to do it, in my opinion. I don't make it all that crazy for myself, right? So you go click on the groups, right? And what I want you to do is type in your city. Don't even make it difficult for yourself. Just type in your city. Oceanside, California. Now, these are the groups that are for Oceanside, California. 85,000 people in this group. I want groups only. Not posts. Okay. So I'm already in Oceanside, California. Jobs in Oceanside. Doesn't have enough people at 2.3. I'm just lazy like that. If I were looking for home owner businesses, and there aren't that many. When you talk about a much larger range like Los Angeles, I've joined all the groups. I just have. But this button will say something different, like join group. Okay. So I look for groups with lots of people in them. And what I'm looking for are my groups. And I'm looking for groups. So here they are. What makes sense for me? Okay. Photos of Los Angeles. I'll probably join that. And that's all you do. Sometimes they ask a question. I don't know why. I've written garbage in those, and it's shocking. Here are my groups that I've currently joined in Los Angeles. Assistance, LA stuff for sale, Craigslist, buy, sell, post anything, classifieds, yard sales, Beverly Hills and Brentwood. It's pretty straightforward, right? For real estate agents, I belong to all the groups. So I'm already in all these groups, my groups. So once you're a member of these groups, remember, nobody wants to be sold in these groups, even though they say buy, sell. I can't begin to tell you how many people I've consulted with where they just immediately go into groups and they start doing buy this, sell this, whatever. Nobody wants that, okay? Even in Dallas, Texas realtors, let's just use it as an example. Nobody in here wants, real hardcore sales pitches. Is not going to get action. I want to start a discussion. And the discussion is simple. Pending home sale figures posted. I'm just doing this real quick. I'm not even using my formula. That does all the work. I'm going to post it. That's it. Now I put more bait out into the water. The real hooks are at the end of the rainbow. Does that make sense? You have to look at this like a chain of events. Now, when you're talking about something like Fight Net Radio, I don't pull articles, right? I will show you my newest thing that I'm just into. Go to Meme Generator. Sorry, Memes Generator. I say Meme because it amuses me. Okay. I use Meme Generator, make a meme. It's a very simple way to make content. A lot of people use Instagram. I'm not opposed to Instagram. This is not what I use. I don't even know who this is. And now my website's locked up. And this is a Firefox issue. Ugh, terrible. Firefox hangs up. I like it. It's faster. But it has a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws. All right. So now I use a meme generator. Right? And I think everybody should be into there they are. Image Flip is the one I use. Where did it go? That was close. I use Image Flip. I like Image Flip a lot. So look for a picture that works for you. Okay? So let's just use the pending home sales. If I was doing pending home sales, I would type in pending home sales. I would look for images that are germane to pending home sales. I'd right click, save the image, right to my desktop where I can find it. I'm going to upload my own image. All of you can do this. This is very simple stuff. Upload. Top link. Pending home sales. Down. Visit. Create meme. It'll actually give me all the, I right click and I save it from here. It's done. Now, for those of you that are Instagrammers, do I not now have an Instagram post waiting to happen? It's also better for Facebook. Photos do index very well. It's a whole thing. Like you get into a whole series of events. But Facebook and Twitter do better with visual things, right? Photo. There you go. Pending home sales are down. Oh, don't tell me you locked up it there too. Nope. Good. All of this is phishing. All of this is real-time phishing. And as you saw from the results, if you put the right bait out, people will click on it and read the article. And if I've done it correctly and I posted it in the right locations, they should be around real estate agents. I do like using my story. I do like uploading video. I mean, there's a much longer explanation to all that. And so the finished product should look just like that. I can also use this on, is there any concern for using other pics from the websites legally? None that I'm aware of, because here's the thing. I use that particular website. They give you a selection of photos to use to write memes over, and they seem to be the same ones that are reused from various locations. I have never seen anything about photos like this. There you go. I don't want that on my timeline because the only thing I want on my timeline is pictures of me with my family. So I'm going to just hide these. They stay in my stream. So Lee Honish remains just a guy who's got a daughter. That's how I play my game. That's how I get my results. That is the package that I present. I am a very public figure, both in the real estate world and in the boxing world, so I'm very meticulous about the results that I'm getting. Now, considering that we haven't even emailed this out yet, let's see how we're doing. Should be more than 2 by now. I'll be shocked if it isn't up to 4 or 5. We're now 30 minutes into this. This isn't really gone anywhere yet. Nope, we're still at 2. Let's check on our email. They approved it. Are there any questions to write here? Jane, when you post on a group, do you have to post one article at a time for each group, or does it get posted in one group at a time so that I don't go into jail for Facebook? Mark, is Jetpack what you recommend for analytics and great webinar? Thank you for the simple steps to provide greater marketing bait together and launched. Mark, to answer your question, I don't know if Jetpack's any better than Google Analytics from a numbers thing. Like, I'm such a numbers nut, none of it seems to really work for me. Like, all their numbers don't jive up. I can tell you for an absolute definitive fact on lead pages, their numbers are skewed. Really weird. Like, the Google Analytics for this page are totally different than these. And I'm wondering if this is not based on the amount of time they spend on the website. I don't know. I really don't know. There is no clear science to it. Richard Galloway, please show us how to join groups. Did that? Covered that. Jane, I post articles on what? Yeah, you just can't just post out into space. It'll never get indexed, Jane. I used to be like that. I used to write for the sake of writing. I covered that. Any other questions? I think I covered a lot of these questions. Oh, Pete Sanchez. Here's a good headline too. Curious what a buyer is willing to pay. Yeah, I agree, Pete. It's a good headline. I did cover that. Did the affiliated products. I covered Instagram. I covered Twitter. I covered Facebook. Articles. Are there people who do all this stuff? Yes. Done for you well? Not really. I've done it for people. And again, it's the results people literally expect from all this. Monster marketing as a sales on a drip line, I can't predict when people will actually buy. I don't get mad at myself. I just keep my head down and keep doing it. I don't get new listeners to subscribe to FightNet Radio all the time, right? Some days I wake up and I'm number one on iTunes, and some days, my commission checks go up from advertising, but it's not all the time. This is broadcast marketing just done electronically behind a desk, and it's all done for free, which is what makes it specific. How you guys doing? 22 of you made it this far. We dropped about 10 people along the way because this became too long and tiresome for them. I like free too. Most everything I showed you is free. The only difference is my lead pages. That's my latest investment. I do have an email service because if I only had 2,000 names, right? Because everything's about list building, right? If I was just a regular real estate agent, I'd probably use MailChimp. So I'm going to tell you guys where this video is going to be posted, and I'm going to help you guys out a little bit further. As I said before, I have been doing consulting, and I've decided on a very limited basis to monetize consulting and setting up people correctly. All you have to do is type in www.leehonish.info. And I have a pretty landing page because Lead Pages made it. You think I'm going to pick that photo and make it look this warm? And you guys know me. You've spent 2 hours with me. I'm not this warm and cozy, actually. If you scroll down and you click on the sign up for free evaluation, it's going to ask for your email, your first name, and your phone number. I will call you. I will help you find your value, and I will get you pointed in the right direction. Just that simple. And I will give you some direction. I'm not going to spend all afternoon with you. This is a consulting session, somewhere around a half hour or so of my time, half hour to an hour. And I will try to get you dialed in on what you should be doing. I suspect for most people, it's about finding their value in their offer. That my experience over the last 9 years of consulting with businesses from mattress places to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu facilities, it's trying to find the most unique value proposition to offer to people. Okay? If you've watched this, you know what your value is and you're completely okay. Keep scrolling down. Okay? Keep scrolling. The video that I just did today will go right here. Hasn't changed yet. This is one on follow-up. But if you keep scrolling down, I do 30, 90, or 1 year of training. So if you want 30 days of coaching, it's $9.97. That means I will set up all of your pages the way I want it done. Okay? I will maximize all your landing pages. You're going to add me on as a page admin. You're going to give me passwords. I'm going to go in and tweak that out. It's going to take me several hours to get everything dialed in correctly. All the analytics, all the research. Now, what does the money really buy? Every Monday at a specified time, we're going to sit down for an hour and we're going to teach you how to post and repost and do all that stuff so you can do it all week long. Then we're going to look at the results, do it again the following Monday. Then I'm going to look at the results, tweak all your pages, and do it again. So over the course of 4 weeks, by the end of 4 weeks, you should be able to do this all yourself. If you think you're going to need longer, there is a 90-day program. You do get a discount. And there is also a 1-year program. I've decided that I'm not going out on the road and I'm not consulting out on the road in individual offices anymore. It's just too time consuming. I think you need skin in the game, and I think you need to learn how to do it. It's just the number of weeks you think it'll take to get you all dialed in. Everything that we've covered and more, all of it's broken down. If you go to leehonish.info, you can fill out the form and sign up for one of these 3 programs, fill out the form, and hit submit. I will review it. I will look and see how uphill my battle is. I am not going to approve everybody. If you're a complete car crash, I might consider. It's really hard when there's nothing to start with. But my advice is do the sign up, see where you sit on the whole thing. Again, that's leehonish.info. I am happy to answer all your questions.